Hey everyone, I am Sanket Singh. I'm working as a software engineer at Google and welcome back to my channel. So guys, in today's video we are going to discuss about one of the most asked question, that which language to start from if they are new to programming and they want to build up a career as a software engineer. Then what's the right way? Like, what is the first language that they should choose? Based on my experience and my opinion, I'm going to share with you that what can be the best language of your choice, right? And if you're learning that language, then what should be the ideal way to go for? Whatever I'm going to discuss about in this video is purely based on my experience and is purely my opinion. Definitely, whatever advice I'm going to give you, you can take that with a pinch of salt, and maybe something that worked for me might not work for you, because whatever advice I'm going to give, I use that. A lot of students of mine use that and are having great success in their career. So definitely you can also take up all of these advices and start your programming journey right away. So without any further delay, let's just start. But before starting the video, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, do hit the subscribe button and do hit the bell icon so that you can get the notification for all the awesome videos that I'm going to put in the future. And if you find this video to be useful enough, and definitely if it adds some value to your career, then don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment and share with all of your friends. So I started my programming journey when I was in class 11th. So if you're in school, then in a lot of I would say schools and boards, you will get the choice of C++ as a language that you can start programming with. And when I graduated, when I completed my class 10th and came into 11th, at that point of time in CBSE, that is Central Board of Secondary Education, they introduced a new language called as Python. So I was having a choice that whether I want to learn with Python or C++. But my school chose Python, and I started exactly my typical journey in programming. I started with Python. So some people start their journey with Python, and as I said, some people start with C++. There is one more language that is available out there, that is Java, which is also one of the best languages to start with. So in this video, we are going to majorly focus on C++, Java and Python. And at the last, I am also going to add the miscellaneous part where I am going to talk about the rest of the languages, what are their use cases, and when you can, if you want, you can explore them. But one thing that I will say, that you don't need to learn lots and lots of languages. If you know even one or at max two language, definitely you are going to grow a lot better as a software engineer in your career, because the value of a software engineer is not based on the language that they know. Their value is based on how much problem solving they can do, how much product they can build, how much builder ability or product ability or problem solving ability they have. This is the major part that will play in your career growth. So definitely whatever choices I am going to give you, you can choose any one or at max two language to start with. So the first language, and to be very honest, my primary language to start with, and this is going to be C++. Now C++, I would say, is a superset of another language called as C. So if you will come into college, then the first language that you will get the interaction with is going to be C. And it's kind of an enhanced ability over C that comes with C++. So why C++ and why it is my primary language for C, why I have kept my primary language as C++. So C++ is extremely fast. Compared to any other language, if you will see, C++ is going to be comparatively faster. So there is a lot of opportunities and there are a lot of things that you can build using C++. So I primarily also do development in C++ also. So using C++, you can build desktop applications. You can build web application like the backend servers you can build in C++. You can even do IoT related things using C++. There are a lot of libraries based on that. And a lot of machine learning libraries are also available in C++. And due to the fact that C++ is extremely powerful and extremely fast, those machine learning libraries are also really very fast. Apart from that, what I believe C++ is the best for is, if you are very much into competitive programming and problem solving, then you will find C++ to be having an edge over any other language. Why? Because first of all, as I said, C++ is really very fast. Second of all, it is having a very rich standard template library, which allows you to have the usage of a lot of data structures and algorithms already inbuilt into it. So there are some data structures like policy-based data structure, which are not even available in most of the other languages, but is available in C++. So it has a very rich library of standard template. Apart from that, if you are a lot into competitive programming, then trust me, based on my experience, what I've seen is 90% of the editorials and the tutorial videos, or let's say editorial code, that you will find is going to be in C++. So if you already know C++, then it becomes really easy to understand others' code. And generally, if you go for any hiring, or if you want to get an internship and everything, the major thing that is asked is problem solving, and you have to solve them using data structures and algorithms and code it. So if you will be having a good grasp of C++, then it will definitely help you in preparing for those kind of interviews. As I said, you will find hell lot of tutorials, you will find a lot of books also which are having dedicated data structure and algorithmic code in C++. This is, I believe, is one of the most best use cases of C++. Apart from that, the whole competitive programming community is kind of dominant with C++. A lot of people are there who generally code in C++ only. So if you want to build up your profile in competitive programming, I would highly recommend you to have C++, because 90% of the time what will happen is, if you form a team and go to a team event, your other team members will be also knowing C++. So it will be really handy for you to collaborate with them. Now, is there any problem with C++? Yes, there is. Some people find learning C++ a bit more difficult when compared to Java or Python. Apart from that, if you see with respect to development opportunities and what exactly companies are doing, then you won't find a lot of companies using C++ as their core tech stack. Like companies like Adobe and Google are there, which definitely uses C++, but there are not a plenty of them. So that, I would say, is going to be a bit of con for C++, because if you already know C++, then also you might need to know one more language at least, maybe Java, JavaScript, or Python, or Ruby, anything else. So this is going to be my opinion. And if you will ask me in one shot that, Sanket, I have like 10 options, what you will suggest me, what I will choose, I will say, if you are starting your programming journey, if it's your day 0 in programming, start with C++. So without any further delay, let's just move to our next language of the choice.
It won't make a lot of sense if we discuss about all of these languages, but I don't share with you some resources to learn these languages. So here I would like to introduce to you to the YouTube channel of Code Tribe, where along with me, several other industry experts who are working at companies like Google, LinkedIn, Microsoft, Amazon are teaching for free. All of these lectures are very in-depth and include wide variety of topics in programming, including concepts of data structures and algorithms, along with language basics of Java, C++, and Python as well. Here you can see we are putting tons and tons of hours of content which is available for free, which include all the live lectures. As you can see here, Vishwamohan, who is an 10-year experienced software engineer working at LinkedIn teaching Java. Here you can see I am teaching C++ in a 4-hour session where we discussed about very much in-depth concepts of C++, including compilation concepts as well. And here you can see some lectures around recursion and backtracking that is taken by me. All of these lectures are live and put on the channel of Code Tribe, and we are also going to very soon put recorded video sessions around languages and data structures and algorithmic basics that you can find in all of the playlists given below. So what are you waiting for? Just go and subscribe to the channel of Code Tribe and hit that bell icon so that you never miss any notification about any lecture that we are going to put on the channel.
Now, the next language of our choices can be Java. So Java is one of the most robust and one of the most renowned and used programming language currently in the industry. You can find ample amount of opportunities if you are a Java developer. So what all things you can do with Java? With Java, you can build backend applications like backend servers. You can build desktop applications. You can even build Android applications using Java. Java is like one of the pioneer in the overall software industry, right? If you will see companies like Amazon, Google, these companies are also having a very heavy tech stack and a very heavy part of their code in Java. When I was working at LinkedIn, the whole backend of LinkedIn was also built up in Java. So if you will be learning Java, then the major advantage that you will be having is later there is a very highly likely chance that you will be doing software development in Java also. So you don't have to learn a completely new language in order to get your career going. Apart from that, if you are into competitive programming and problem solving, then also Java is pretty robust. It's not as fast as C++, but mostly on platforms, if let's say any problem is given 1 second to C++, then Java gets 2 seconds or 3 seconds for the same problem, because as it is a bit slow, but then Java has its own other advantages. So Java is platform independent, but C++ is not platform independent. Although in order to gain this platform independence, it has to lose a bit on the overall efficiency. But I would highly recommend, if you are into Android applications, if you want to build Android applications and you just don't want to shift to a lot of languages, Java can be a very good way to start with. And it has a very rich collections library. I must say it is not as rich as the C++ STL library for competitive programming, but still the collection library is pretty huge. It is having a lot of data structures and a lot of algorithms already inbuilt. So even if you are starting with Java, you won't be finding a lot of difficulties. What are the cons with Java? I must say, in order to learn Java again, you might find a bit of difficulties, because for doing a very small thing in Java also, you have to write a huge amount of code. Apart from that, being a bit slow, I have experienced sometimes a bit of issue doing competitive programming with Java. Apart from that, there are new alternatives that have come into the market for Android also, like Kotlin, and for even web application, there are some other new languages and tech stack that have emerged in recent days. So still, Java is having a lot of relevance in the industry. Companies like Amazon, Google are still using it. And if you will learn it, then also you will find a lot of opportunities to interview for, and definitely is going to be an added edge in your resume. One thing that I would like to notify here is Java. A lot of people write that they know Java. So knowing Java is based on two perspectives. Whether you know Java core or you know Java advanced. If you know Java core, then specifically write in your resume Java core, because if you just write Java, then you can open the door to a hell lot of questions that you might not be aware of. So based on what you have learned, you should only write that, because like if you'll ask me, a lot of time in interviews, I used to research a bit that, okay, this company is having their backend in which tech stack. And if they were having their backend in Java, I used to never write Java in my resume, because I know if there is a developer 8-year or 9-year experienced, he will be having way more experience in Java than I am going to have, let's say, in 1 year or 2 years. So that was something that I used to do. But again, if you are proficient in Java and if you are confident enough that you can give the interviews and you can answer most of the question, then definitely go with Java. And it would be my second best recommendation after C++, if you are just starting the concepts in programming. Why second best? Because Java abstracts few things like pointers and memory management. It automatically does few of the things. So as a programmer, you don't get to interact a lot with the overall memory scenario. So that is one of the reasons that I feel Java should be my second best opinion. And again, it's a bit slower than C++. So this was my opinion with Java, and let's just start with our third language of preference, that is. So Python is our third language of preference. If you will ask me in the order, I will say this should be your third best preference. If you don't like C++, if you don't like Java, then Python is the way to go for. Why? The Python code is really easy to understand. If you're writing a Pythonic code, trust me, you're writing one of the most clean code that someone can write. Python is known for its flexibility and its readability, right? As a user, if I will be reading Python and if I don't even know Python, then also I'll be able to understand 90% of the code. That this is something that I have felt. Apart from that, Python has got huge amount of applications. With Python, you can do machine learning. With Python, you can do desktop application. You can build desktop application. You can build web application with frameworks like Django. There are some micro frameworks of Python also available. You can do automation and scripting. There are like tons and tons of usage of Python. And if you will check out the TIOB index, then C++, Python and Java, all of these three languages are in the top 10. But if you will carefully see the trajectory of Python, then it has been on an exponential curve of growth. Apart from that, you will find a lot of opportunities in startups which are actually building their products in Python. So startups like Growfer, startups like HackerEarth, these are some startups which have built their complete backend in Python, right? Apart from that, you will find the overall Python community to be so supportive and very active also. So if you will find any difficulty while writing your code, you will find hell lot of answers on Stack Overflow and GitHub in order to rectify your issue. Apart from that, if you'll talk in terms of cons, then I must say that Python is slowest among C++, Java and Python. So if you compare all these three, Python is going to be the slowest. But again, Python gives you the flexibility of platform independence as well, so that is an added advantage. But being a bit slow, Python is not that preferred in competitive programming. So if you are doing competitive programming, you might find a bit of difficulty using Python. Why I am saying so? Because the collection library for Python is not that rich when compared to C++ or Java. At least I feel that. Maybe you can have some counterpoint. If you have, so then definitely drop that in comments. So if you are doing competitive programming, your code will be a bit slower. Generally, platform gives 5 times more time when compared to C++ for a question, but still sometimes that is not sufficient for Python. A lot of people face difficulty when shifting to any other language from Python. So Python is so easy in order to read and learn that later when you, let's say if you go into a company and you have to do the things in Java, you will find a lot of difficulty because your brain is trained for a very easy and very verbose and easily readable code. But when you come to a language like C++ and Java, that can be a bit problematic. But again, knowing Python in 2021 is going to be of great advantage. You can find a lot of open source projects. If you are an open source enthusiast, then also Python is going to be very relevant for you. If you are a machine learning enthusiast, there are a lot of libraries like TensorFlow, PyTorch, Keras that are built in Python and can easily make your machine learning algorithms ready to be deployed. So I would highly recommend you to explore Python if you are more into development and you want to build up things very fast, you want to build a web application, you can definitely refer Django. So these kind of things are very much as an added advantage of Python. So if you are more into this, definitely you can check out Python. But in my opinion, Python will be my third preference when compared to C++ and Java as well. So apart from C++, Python and Java, I would like to mention 2 more languages that are going to be very, I would say, useful in your programming journey. The first that we can never forget about is JavaScript. So JavaScript is one of the most versatile language that exists out there. Using JavaScript, you can build web applications, you can build mobile applications, both cross-platform, that is iOS and Android both. You can build web front end, you can build web back end, you can build desktop applications, you can write scripts. There are libraries like TensorFlow.js that gives you the ability to do a bit of machine learning also in JavaScript, and hell lot of things are there that you can do with JavaScript, right? JavaScript is one of the most, I would say, relevant language in 2021, right? If you know JavaScript, then it opens a wide variety of job opportunities for you. So knowing JavaScript can be definitely an added advantage. But JavaScript is a bit more tricky when compared to any other language like C++, Java or Python in terms of the overall learning curve, because the concepts of JavaScript are really different from these kind of languages. So that was the first language that I would like to mention. And apart from that, if you have a lot of time and if you want to explore very rapid development, very rapid web development, web backend development, then you can try Ruby. So Ruby is also one of the very famous languages that exist out there. Currently in 2021, if someone is learning Ruby, that is only going to be because of Ruby on Rails. That is a web backend application framework. It's an MVC framework. And trust me, if you know Ruby on Rails, you can build things in like a day or two that might take a whole week or a month if you are going to build that in Java or let's say JavaScript or any other language. And also Ruby is even a more enhanced version of Python. Like in my opinion, I believe if you give Python 10 on 10 for its readability, you are going to give 100 on 10 to Ruby for its readability. So Ruby is like extremely verbose, it's extremely readable. And if you have the power of Ruby on Rails, then if you're working in a startup or if you want to build your own startup, if you're someone who wants to be an entrepreneur and want to build their own startup and you have the tech knowledge, then I would highly recommend you to explore Ruby on Rails, because you can like build a whole complete project in like just few days, right? And it is going to be highly productive on your whole development team. I also learned Ruby on Rails and I'm truly a fan of it. So I would highly recommend, if you have some time, then definitely once in your college time, if you have some bandwidth, definitely try Ruby on Rails. So these were some miscellaneous mentions from my side. This was my recommendation, what language you should learn from. If you want to learn all of these languages, I will drop links of some YouTube videos. Some videos are of mine only, and I will drop some links of some books from which you can refer Java, Python, C++, JavaScript, etc. Right. Learning a language, I would say, is a long-term task. It's an iterative task. You cannot learn a language like in a month. There are a lot of things that you have to do. So I would say patiently start with a language, do a lot of data structure and algorithmic problem solving, and slowly and steadily you will be able to understand most of the concepts of the language. So this was it for today's video. If you find this video to be useful enough, don't forget to drop a like, don't forget to drop a comment and tell me about what is your language of preference. And if you find this video useful enough, share it with your friends so that they can also get a perspective around what language to start for. And if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing to the channel so that you can get all the notifications of all the awesome videos that we are going to put on this channel. So that's all for today. I hope that you guys enjoyed the session. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Till then, take care guys. Bye bye. Have a great week ahead and love you all.